Does everybody like our music? I find it so chill.
I almost fell asleep. You know that, right?
I don't know if it should be like,
It's almost an
but I
early
just,
day for me. I'm up at well, you as well. I'm up at 5:36 now. But oh, we are live. Hey
oh,
guys.
we're live. So, hello, everybody.
How's it going?
Welcome.
It's Friday. Finally Friday. Hi Joseph, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. Glad you
Yay,
could make it.
hello.
Hi Byron.
So, maybe Amber will join us. She'll pop in, but we're not sure.
You're not
So
sure
we'll
yet.
see.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get lucky.
We'll see.
So welcome everybody. I don't know if you saw, I posted on my story on Instagram the little preview of today's project.
And
If you want to see the beginnings of it, I started this on Tuesday, so you can watch Han and I's replay on Tuesday. What did you make on Tuesday?
oh, let me
Do you have it there handy?
yes,
So we have all the live streams available on replay, and you guys can watch them. We've been live streaming for over a year now. Ton of stuff on there, great content.
okay.
And we started.
So Marley started. This is for you. This is a 2-day project, right?
Yes.
So we started on Tuesday. I started on Tuesday and I finished on Tuesday. So here's a little.
Oh, yes.
So this is what I created on Tuesday. If you guys remember, I was really looking forward to using my snowman cutter, but I couldn't find it for about 2 weeks. And so I found it last week, and I created these scarecrow cookies. And you guys were so awesome. You gave me so many different ideas on how to use this cutter creatively with different designs. So I'm going to try to do some of those. And I also used my gingerbread cookie dough recipe. And this recipe, I have it on my blog. And I just wanted to show you.
Oh, thank you.
So here are the cookies that are listed on the blog.
I have to say, those look very tasty.
Yeah, very tasty. Today I ate 5. Okay, so because I have them like in here in a bag, so I can decorate them, but I don't know if I'll have enough to decorate actually, because they're very good. So yes, check it out. It's a recipe, gingerbread man cookies on hanyelas.com. And
all right, so that's on the replay. So if you guys want to watch that, you'll find it. You'll find it on in the Facebook and on YouTube. So I did load a few. I'm decorating live, but I did load a few things, and I'm just going to show you quickly. So I'm using Drip Color Airbrush, and if you're in my groups, either Facebook or on Patreon, I added the link. So what I did is I actually airbrushed little royal icing discs. So I had leftover icing. I piped a bunch of circles, and don't stress about it being perfect. Don't need a template. And then I airbrushed them so that I could actually see, because when you look at the bottle, yeah, they have a sticker on it, but you don't really know what it's going to look like. So there it is. There are the samples. So I did that. And then I wanted to show you this. I'm working on chocolate cookies. So when you watercolor, you're essentially putting like really liquidy stuff on your royal icing, and the cookie can absorb that. And if you airbrush, you can also get like, and so if that's something that you don't like, well, when you work on a chocolate cookie, that doesn't happen because the cookie is so dark, especially if you're using the Barry Cocoa that I like to use. I actually loaded an automatic reply on my story on Instagram. So if you reply to my story, top 1, 2, 3, I'm going to text you back the direct links for the cocoa powder, my magnifying glasses. You guys have seen them on a few occasions.
Are you gonna put those on? Hey everyone!
Glasses and my favorite airbrush.
You should be doing the ad, the commercial for it. I mean, you just.
Well, sometimes you just can't see the little tiny things.
Yes,
and you know what happened when I was working on some cookies? I had those glasses on and I saw my marker tip was damaged. It was brand new, but it was like cut in half.
Really?
So my line was writing split, like I was getting 2 instead of 1 line. So yeah. So that's
We
it.
just go back. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you, Nicole. Yes, I did find the cutter. Hello, Joseph, Debbie. So Mari, you wanna kick
So I
it
just
off
want to do
today?
one more thing. So last week I mentioned that if you stick your little fondant decorations to a surface, like this is an acetate sheet, then they don't blow around when you airbrush them. So there they are airbrushed, okay? So you can
Very
kind of
nice.
see. And here they are attached. And obviously this is super speed. Because we're live airbrushing, I'm going to do a bit, but it's tough. Like I have to wash out all my colors and stuff. So you can see here, I just hit a little bit in green, a little bit in brown, a
And
little
these
bit
are
in yellow.
all done with the mold?
Those are all made with a fondant mold, yes.
So cute.
And yeah, so you just get your decorations painted a lot faster than if you dust them, because if you dust them, well, you have to pick up each little one. This way you can work fast, because as you know, time is money. So if you're spending hours on these leaves, well, your cookies, you can't make more cookies, right? The more cookies you make, the more money you make. So that's, a little time saver there. So I'm going to turn on my camera here and we'll do the little dance. Here, this. Nope, it's this one, this one, this one.
Hello, Angie, Adriana. Hey,
Great.
Jeremy.
Here you can see my colors that I used here on the ghost. Here, let's put the ghost in frame so you can see. And I like the little discs, because you can kind of take them and see, oh, does this go together? Where did I put my?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. It's a little you can create. Yes, that's a good idea. I like your ghost. It's
Kind
like
of like
it's,
I had pulled
it
out.
has a vintage vibe for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Does the ghost have like a vintage?
Here I have my other one, so you can kind of like see right away, oh, do I like these two together? I don't. And they're dry. You can just store them with your airbrush. It doesn't, nobody's eating this. I wrote in pencil. This is not food, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I wrote in pencil so that I knew exactly what the colors were.
Oh, somebody's here.
Oh, she bounced back out. I'm not touching it.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it
Just
going?
saying whether we don't know. We were just saying we didn't know whether you are going to be able to join us.
I made it.
Welcome.
So
I'm talking about I made airbrush samples on little royal icing discs so you can see the colors. And so then you can take your disc, like I was saying, and just you can see, oh, do I like this color palette or whatever, And so this here is an airbrushed, and this here is painted right from the bottle. And this one here is diluted with alcohol. So again, you can see if you like it better with an airbrush surface. This one here, again, painted right out of the bottle. This one here is diluted. So it gives you a better kind of idea of, how your colors are going to look.
That's
so
great.
I think I'm actually going to start with the, let's start with the watercolor version. So here is the prototype. So last week we decorated them in the white icing. And you can see here the bubbles, because I didn't just flood the whole surface, which you could. You could just do one big white area, but I
love this shade. Where did you get this cutter?
This is actually in the Global Belly shop.
Oh, is it the tall
Yeah.
pumpkin?
Yeah.
I like that a lot. It's very nice.
And so here is a paint tray. I think there's a 6-hole paint tray in the Global Belly store. This is a bigger version. And I'm using the alcohol. This is 94%. This is what's available in Quebec, but you can get high proof alcohol almost anywhere. And I'm just filling some of these little wells with the alcohol. So when you watercolor, you can use gel. I personally like to use airbrush colors. So gel has gel kind of in it, whereas airbrush is liquid so that it can go through the airbrush gun. So you don't get all that little gunk in there.
Yes.
And I just like it better when I'm doing watercolor.
Mm.
So you can see here the little tops of the color. You see, it's not it's not really accurate. And this one here, actually, in transportation, it leaked. It looks black, so I don't even get to see the really pretty purple there. So you can do 1 dot of just pure, and then you can put a dot, just 1 drop in the alcohol. And so you can, when you dilute your airbrush colors, you can actually dilute in different, like in ratio, you know, alcohol to airbrush color. So you could maybe do, you know, this is just pure alcohol, so I'll take some of this diluted version and bring it into the alcohol and further dilute it, which means it will be lighter. So I just want to talk about the drip colors. You know, I'm usually pretty honest. So this is the negative with the drip color. When you squeeze your drop of color out, almost every time there is remnants of color left there. And if you don't wipe it, when you close it, it makes a splash. And I have gotten lucky. It hasn't been on my shirt, but a splash of airbrush color, we're all aware, is rather annoying. So you have to kind of just wipe the edge there, or else you're going to be getting it on your thing. So the other thing that I like when I'm doing watercolor is I like to use a different paintbrush for each color, because it's kind of the way to keep, especially your light color, looking true. As you know, if you take the light colored paintbrush and bring it into the dark purple, well, it's not, you know, if you're working especially on several cookies, that's going to be really tricky. I soaked, after I was done, in vinegar. I just put vinegar in a little glass and I soaked them, and they got pretty close to clean, because it is like it does stain, right? It's very concentrated.
It's hard to get the color out of those brushes.
Yes. So here, where's my cookie? How do, like, I have like no space, and how does the cookie disappear? Like no joke.
I can relate, totally.
I have 2.
Totally relatable.
Yep.
This is the weirdest thing. It's like the Twilight Zone right here. It was right like there. Anyway, all right. Let me just look quickly. Are there any questions while?
Oh, hello. Hello.
No questions. All right. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm doing this coloring stuff with the airbrush is I actually like to, oh, see, my brush had remnants in it, but it's okay because it's the lighter one. But anyway, I like to wet the whole thing. And so I find that when you wet it, the colors just kind of like, the word that's coming to mind is dance more, like it just flows into that alcohol that's on the surface. As opposed to coming in with a dry surface. It doesn't, like, especially if you're trying to get this kind of like whimsical type effect, it just doesn't go on the same way.
Yeah, it spreads easy.
Yeah, it kind of like bleeds and gets like drawn into the alcohol that's, you know, the other area. So now I'm just going to grab some of that darker purple. And you can see in the crack there, it kind of like, because there's a bit more gets accumulated there, so the color is a bit darker. So if you want to let it dry, the first layer, and then you can come in with another layer of color once it's dry, and then like dots of the same color will like be darker. Here, it really worked on this one, what I'm talking about. You can see the little dots. Those are secondary layers of color on top of a base color that had dried. And you can see it's super fast and easy, and you can achieve a really interesting surface design on there.
How long would you say it takes for the first layer to dry?
A minute, a second, like it's the
Yeah,
height
it's
of alcohol.
very quick.
Like, this is absolute insanity. I don't even know how this.
Oh, you can find the cookie?
Eh?
You can find the cookie?
I cannot find, I mean, I didn't move. How does this happen?
Well, I guess
Anywhere.
you must have some creature.
Well, I'll paint it. I just want to do another one.
Somebody
So
stole it. I love this shape. This is like my favorite shape.
So
Turn it. If you turn it upside down, it could be a door.
yes. It could be a witch with a.
Like with, or a witch too. Like, but I'm thinking like not.
I just want to show another kind of like. So you could do the ghosts in light grays or in the Wedgwood.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So I'm just, again, just lightly, I've wet the whole surface and I'm just adding the color all over. No real rhyme or reason. And you see, you don't have to go super dark. Like this one here is quite light. I can let it dry and then I'll come back in. And like I was mentioning, you see here, there's no color seeping into my cookie because the cookie is this almost black color. So I don't get that ugliness there.
And you're using was it vodka you said?
No, it's hot. It's just like I guess what would be the equivalent is like a moonshine type thing. It's 90. It's not any. It's like it's
grain, some kind of a grain alcohol.
It just says alcohol on it. It doesn't say. Yeah. You see, I don't like it as much with the darker on the ghost.
Kim says it's like wrapping Christmas presents and losing your tape.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there we go. So you get to have like this. You could do, on a moon. You could do it for clouds. And it's just a fast way to get a background design on your cookies. All right. So now I've got the gold decorations I made last week. I painted them with my airbrush, and you see how that just.
And this is fondant. And what gold did you use?
The gold
is nice gold. It's a very nice lustrous.
Well, you know what's making it even darker? This is Roxy Rich. It's because it's this colored fondant. So if you're coloring on white fondant, your gold is not going to be. You see here, white. This is the same gold, okay?
Oh, is it? Yeah. Wow.
And look at the difference.
Yeah.
So it's almost like bronzish.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need to have if you want an intense color like that, you want to have a bit of pigment in your fondant. So then you can color the stem if you want, add some white icing, or you can just leave it and attach
your little
fondant decorations. And it's like, so the cookies, you ice them, let them dry 24 hours. Then you can wrap them, undecorate, just white, put them in the freezer. And then you can have like a more easy decorating day, make your fondant pieces. And then the day, it's relaxed. You have all your little fondant decorations. You pull out your dry cookies and it's like zero stress.
So Nicole is asking, wait, you got the gold color from an airbrush? Because you said Roxy and Rich. So
yes, I use this little container here, this little silicone. I put the gold in there with alcohol and then I squeeze it like that and I pour that in my airbrush. And so, yes, it does clog the airbrush gun. I work always with my needle exposed so I can pull back the needle. And so the needle essentially seals the hole, right? It's like a little V that seals the hole. So if you pull back the needle, it releases the clump of whatever's accumulated there. Then you can put it back into position. So my needle is always exposed to facilitate unclogging the gold that does accumulate in that tip. It does. So now with some white or whatever color, but usually, you don't want to add too much so that it doesn't seep out, and you don't want to have a color that's going to maybe bleed into your cookies. And you just attach your little element, and you've just taken the most simple cookie and made it into something like, wow.
For a wedding, I think too, so.
Well, there's a lot of fall weddings. So yeah, you can do any color you want. You see the pumpkin here, they're typically orange, but it's purple. I added the link for that mold, which is so pretty, in my coffee shop. There is a supply list. It's the one from last week.
Queen has a good question. Oh, sorry. Cookies.
Before decorating, I think so. What do you guys think?
I wouldn't like if you freeze them baked already. I wouldn't refreeze them.
Oh no.
If you freeze them unbaked, like if you cut them out, you freeze them on a sheet until they are frozen.
That's
like
what I
in
do.
a single layer, and then
Mhm.
you can stack them into a freezer safe container.
Yeah.
And then you bake them off, and then you can freeze them again after
Yeah.
you bake them off. But I wouldn't
Right.
freeze baked
Baked,
cookies
yeah.
twice because they tend to dry out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What did I have here? Okay. So now we've got this one. And so last week I did the parchment paper all wrinkled. So we're going to lift that off. And you can see here that's exposes the kind of texture. And this is more what it looks like, right? To have a fall leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And my mold here lines up perfectly for the stem.
Oh yeah, this could be also for the wedding. And if you put initial, yeah, that's very pretty.
So now I'm going to airbrush the leaf, and you can see here.
Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful.
Because of those little kind of cracks and stuff, well, the color just doesn't lay the same way as if you were just airbrushing on a smooth surface. You see? Like it just looks completely different. So let's do that. I'm actually going to just, if you permit me, I'm going to move this because I don't want to have a.
So Paula says that she has baked blanks and then defrosted and decorated and froze them, and they were fine. So I guess yes,
but that's a good like
you
test
have to test the recipe depending on the recipe, I suppose.
You know, like let's be brutally honest though. If you're working on wedding cookies and this is like 100 plus cookie project, don't worry about them not tasting perfect. At the end of the day, at a wedding, it's about looking perfect. That's the sad truth. The food tastes like usually garbage, and so we're going to be looking at your cookies. I'm saving this.
We're really honest. Okay.
Did I lie?
I said it's time for we should have a segment in our Friday Live. Whatever. Guys, think of something. Or I don't know, honesty segment.
So I'm just going to pull out my other one. So here's the other one. And so when you're doing this, you want to actually group your airbrushed cookies, if possible, together so that, especially in a whimsical thing like this, that's not really precise, just group them as tightly as you can together so that you can maximize your color so that, right, you're getting the most bang for your buck for the color. And you can work so much faster if you have them all grouped together. So I'm just going to.
Is that gold that you're using?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that gold? It looks gold.
This color is called Avellana. It's all Spanish. It's the drip colors.
Okay.
So it's not shimmery.
It looks gold. Is it
yeah,
shimmery?
It looks like gold.
No, it's not shimmery. Here are the
the bottom ones. The bottom row here. Yeah, it looks very much like gold.
And so I don't have to wash the airbrush because now I'm coming in with a color called Calypso, which is orange. And so I don't have to wash the airbrush because you see they complement each other. And so I don't have to worry about it looking gross or brown. They like the colors you see, especially when they overspray on each other.
Very pretty.
That's so cool. Hi, Grace.
And then you have your coverage really fast. And then my last color, I wanted to add a bit of green. So you can rotate. A paper towel makes a great airbrush turntable. You can rotate your cookies very easily. And now my last bit. You see, my needle was far too deep, so my color wasn't coming out. So you want to adjust, not on the cookie.
Right.
This is kind of like Kelly green.
There.
Very pretty.
So that's it. Super fast. And again, you can just add a little bit of the royal icing and attach your little fondant bits onto your cookie. if you look at your fondant molds, you can kind of see, you know, think about it. If you have cookies that maybe have a shape where it can kind of be, you know, nestled into like this. So that's that one.
That's awesome.
Do I have time for one more? I just wanted to talk about layered stencils.
Sure.
So layered stencils, which is what I used for the ghost here. So layered stencil, so when you're airbrushing, it's not like when you're painting. So when you take paint on the end of your paintbrush and you touch the blue and you go right on the dot, well, you're just getting that dot of blue. Whereas when you're airbrushing, well, it comes out like it's a spray. So it's very difficult to get very precise to do that little leaf to do. So that's, you need to use stencils to do this level of really fine detail. Now, usually in the beginning, most people, like the stencil, it's one layer. So you put the design down and you airbrush and you get all the same thing. Well, there's layered stencils, whereas you're putting a stencil and you're adding a color, then removing that stencil, putting another stencil. You see here, the first stencil was light purple, the second stencil was dark purple, and the third stencil was green. And so you have to go step by step by step to get this really defined color sectioning. And the bow here is the same as the gold things. They were white and I airbrushed them. So you see, you get a perfect color match. And then the face, that's, if you're, you know, doing something over like airbrush, you have to use dark color so that it doesn't show through. And this is actually royal icing there, that face. So you want to not move your cookie just to facilitate layering the stencils, because they have to obviously layer in a specific way for it to work. Yes, they look like actual leaves. Yes. That was all planned out. So I'm going to start with the light. So here now, this is important stuff, what I'm about to explain. So now I've got the stencil on. The killer zebra is up and facing me here. So you need to remember that, because if after, when you want to do the second one, you have the killer zebra up here, it's not going to work. So it's very important. And I put it right tight to the corner there. So you have to kind of remember that, make mental notes, or else you're going to be pulling your hair out to layer the colors. Oh, I just put purple in the one that had green.
Oh,
Oh,
Good. I'm going to move that aside. The color was so, like, I thought it was empty. The color was so deep in the little hole that I didn't even see that there was color. So technically you'd need to wash your airbrush 2 times to do this. If you have 2 guns, well, then you could work a little bit faster. So now I'm doing the light purple, and you don't have to go super dark. If you keep it more on the light side, well, it'll contrast more with the next details of the flowers, right? If you don't.
Would you say that you could use this for Christmas? Like if you airbrush them with
I'm sorry, what?
Would you say you could use this stencil for Christmas too? I'm thinking like if you airbrush with red and then darker red and then like
you use it. It's one of
right?
her best sellers. I think you could use it with almost anything, really. And so you see here. Oh, there was icing on the cookie. I was wondering why I got that dot. So now again, I'm tucking it as much as I can in the corner, and it'll just make my life a little bit easier later when I have to do my second one. So I'm just going to quickly do another one. And my cookie, it's not like super tight on the surface there. I think my icing is rounded, you know, like a bubble. And so it's like kind of floating at the top, but that's fine. So now here I have my first, so I'm taking out the stencil, and you can run through that color 1. Did I do it again? Oh,
So
no,
the stencil is from the killer zebra, correct?
yes.
Do you have it in your coffee shop in a supply list?
It's in that supply list. So again, you see,
coffee shop here. You can click on the. You can.
Yeah, it's in the coffee shop.
There,
in the
yes.
So I've got it here. You see, in the same position, right at the corner. It's just going to make my life easier when I want to layer the next one, you see? So now I see the purple through it from that first section. And actually, I'm going to try to do it just all in the same color if I just darken. Because I did it so light. And then there's actually a little flower there. And you can do a little bit of, like, let's say you wanted to make those blue, you could. You just have to get a little bit closer, because the closer you are to your cookie with your airbrush, the more detail you can kind of get. All right. Oh, the hand has something. There. All right. So then when you lift that off, look how pretty that is.
So pretty. So Angie's asking, do you use silk screen over your stencils when airbrushing?
I mean, it really depends on the design. Something like this, I don't find that the slight mist impacts the design. You know, like if you're doing stripes, I guess, but like this, I didn't. And look, the other thing that's the wireless airbrush doesn't blow like some of the airbrushes. It's a really soft wind, and so you don't get as much underspray.
Oh, I did not know that about wireless.
And here, let me just do the next one here. She actually scores the stencils to a degree to help you kind of for alignment. I'm trying to see here now, my cookie, I'm not able to go. I guess I'll move the. This is a smaller stencil holder from AliExpress. It's like $2-3 compared to the ones we see that are like $30.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a deal, but it's smaller, so it doesn't work with your bigger cookies. So you see, I'm doing it all in
5
color.
inch, right? It looks about 5 inch. The stencil.
Yeah, it's really not that big. All right, so I'll do the green, and then I'm done. So she actually, after I bought this stencil, she actually introduced another layer. So in her shop, it's a 5-layer stencil. She has like little dots in between the design. See, the cookie's not I don't know, like the wonkiness over here, but I can see through it. So this, it might turn purple because there's purple on top of this green. So I'm just going to try and see if I can do it. Oh, you see it's turning now. Yeah. But you can see how it really makes these defined patterns. And then you can just spackle on. So the stencil, I did load that to my groups this morning. It's just a cut your own. And then you can just quickly spackle that on. So again,
somebody was asking here, do you use silk screen?
I don't use silk screen that much. I know that people like are all about it being perfect. I'm more about it being good enough. So everybody has their way, their things. For me, I mean, I don't want to, but at the end of the day, you know what? It is just a cookie. Yeah, it's like, it's my art form, but this is temporary art. I'm trying to make money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to work efficiently and fast. So good enough makes more money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the facts. So my icing's been sitting. It looks very watery here. Let me see if it's gonna.
And how long would you say you let the cookies dry between layers of airbrushing?
Because it was such a fine mist, like really not long. Like when you're doing a super fine mist, you don't have to let them dry a long time. So my icing's been sitting, and so it's not ideal there, but it's just to show you guys. And there's the little face. And my bows, I was gonna paint them while I was on, but I'll just quickly do one to show you. Oh, this is the purple that was with the green. You see it, but it's making like a gray. So I'll just hit the middle, and then I'll come in with the other purple. There. And so you can just attach your little bows, you see? So yeah, I mean, it's something that you can kind of put together at a reasonable like time, you know, if you do all your decorations in advance, and that's it. I'm just trying to give you guys some different ideas and that you can execute quickly. So that's it. Sorry, Han.
For what?
I went a bit over.
Oh, you're fine. I went 40 minutes last time without even realizing.
Can I just show? Look at how nice it is after it's dried.
cool.
I love it. It's very vintage. I don't know. It has a do you feel like it has a vintage vibe, or am I not feeling it correctly?
And I think even that watercolor base with those flowers on top would be really cool.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly. No, I really like it. It's very cute.
So here, let me take that out.
I don't punch people in the face. I kick them in the knees.
Well, can I just?
So they fall on their face. No, I don't do that.
I did.
Terrible.
I did load some stencils in today. If anybody's interested, those are in the coffee shop for $3. There's 5 designs with the listing. I hadn't done a stencil load in a while, so I did these 5. If you guys are interested, that's it. Am I cracking you up?
Okay, yes. No, I'm just laughing at myself. Sometimes all we can do. So I also shared a sneak peek in my stories today. What I'm going to be doing, and I forgot to prepare a tutorial how I made the skulls. But I think we saw a tutorial from Mar a few weeks ago. And I even had a tutorial on how to make the skulls. I used a mold from I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. Let me just.
The ice cube tray.
Ice cube tray. Thank you. Ice cube tray from Dollar Store. I did it like years ago, and then I started doing it again. But this skull actually I trimmed. So I froze the skulls. And I trimmed it with a sharp knife so it wouldn't be so kind of bulky looking on my cookie. And now I baked it off, and once baked, I used kind of runny electric pink icing, and I just brushed it on in a thin layer. I didn't want to use icing that was too thick because then I would lose all of the detail. And then you just have to let that dry. And it will take maybe, I don't know, an hour or so for it to completely dry because it is a really thin layer. I highly recommend investing in electric pink. It's one of my favorite colors to use. And it's also great to use for when you're making purple. And this is how you can pick it up and then place it on another tray or somewhere to leave it dry.
Well, okay. I'm imagining kids having a good time doing that because it's like kind of messy.
I guess so. And so to make the cookies today, I don't know about you guys, but I can't seem to find like a really nice tombstone. Like I guess they're all very nice, but they are either too short or so. This is not a cutter per se. This is Cindy sent me this years ago. And Cindy is a student who took a class, and she would send me a lot of gadgets once in a while, and it was filled with other things. But I saw it, and I'm like, well, this could be a cutter, so I used it to cut out my cookies. Okay, so I don't know if you can find this particular cutter. I'm gonna try to get a template in my coffee shop hopefully soon. And so I baked the cookies, and then I did what Mar did with her leaves. So I used, this is a combination of purple and black. That's the color of my icing. And the consistency I'm using, it's not super runny. I didn't want to use super runny icing on this because I wanted to avoid adding too much because it is a larger cookie. It's not a small cookie. So I'm just gonna add maybe 20, 25-second consistency here.
So is that your usual sugar cookie?
Hmm?
Is that your usual sugar cookie on
Yes,
your blog?
it is. Yes, it is. It is my usual sugar cookie, and I'm going to spread it with palette knife. You can use a brush as well. The palette knife works really. Oh, did I use brush? I thought I used palette knife. Why am I thinking I used the palette knife?
You're thinking about a different cookie, I think.
I think it must have been a different cookie. Yes, I decorate so many cookies, so I forget. But you can use a palette knife; it will be, I think, even faster. And then we're going to use what Mar did with parchment paper, which is a really fun technique. If you haven't tried it, give it a try. If there's excess, you see, I'm going to remove it. So I'm just going to use a little piece of parchment, and then we can place it on the cookie.
But you said that you found wax paper worked as well.
Yes, wax paper works as well. I find it works as well, because I have used it in the past. But this is what I'm trying to save my wax paper. You have to understand they don't have wax paper in Spain, so I'm trying to save it as much as possible. So that's why I'm using
Really?
parchment. Yes, they don't have. I haven't seen it anywhere. And then you have to let this dry overnight, preferably. Okay. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I have this piece right here. Okay.
What thickness did you roll your cookies?
Oh, these, I mean, because we are only doing these for demonstration, they are maybe a little less than quarter inch, about quarter inch. Oh, I'm already showing the design. Okay, so, all right, so here's my cookie, and basically, just like Mar showed you before, this is all you have to do. You peel it off, and it gives it a really neat texture, okay? So the next step, I'm going to use black icing. Hopefully this is not, of course it is. So I'm going to use my,
Yeah, that would not, I don't think, have worked.
Yeah.
oh no, tissue paper wouldn't work. So tissue paper, it will absorb, it has no coating. So it would absorb all of the liquid and it will pretty much ruin your, I mean, unless
Yeah.
you want to use people paper, you don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna start. This is my scribe, and I'm just gonna mark the border so I know where to pipe. And we're going to, can you guys see all right? Or should I turn on the, yeah, you good?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think, Ken?
Yes, I think so. Yes. Well, if you, yes, you can use a different cookie. You can use a gingerbread would probably work for that. Yes. Now I'm going to use gray, and this is about 20-second consistency to make the stones. I'm just massaging it because since this morning it kind of separated a little. And that's pretty normal. If you have worked with royal icing, I'm sure many of you have experienced separation. So, okay. I feel like I can't see anything.
Now it looks like the surface of the sun.
But I can't see anything, like myself, because it's so dark here already.
You're doing the bird box challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I used number 2 piping tip to make the, what would this be? This would be grout, I suppose.
Yeah.
Normally, if you use a smaller tip, I would wait between the sections that are immediately next to each other. But you can see it's a pretty thick line, so I feel pretty safe that I'm not going to pipe over it. And I'm just using the tip of my piping bag today to kind of smooth the icing. You can see I'm not going in with a scribe. I'm kind of agitating the icing with the tip.
So did you eat all the gummies that you could have maybe paired with this?
What gummies are you talking about? Seriously? I mean, that was like, I need more. I actually, there's always a few that I don't like from the batch, and I don't throw them out. I leave them, and yes, so I did eat even those.
Oh, you even ate the ones you don't like?
Yes, I was so desperate that I was like, I'm gonna eat them.
Gosh, you sound like Ryan, my son. He resorts to eating my chocolate chips for baking when he's got a chocolate craving.
Yes, but you have like, come on, you have like what, the really, 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 really good quality chocolate. So who
Mhm.
doesn't eat that?
No, he's eating like the chocolate chips, like whatever, the ones you get at the Walmart there.
Okay, well, it's not bad.
Well, it's not bad. I just find it like comical. He's in here sneaking in my supplies.
Oh, he goes in. You don't. Oh, he goes in your space and he steals it. Okay, well, that's a different story. That's a different story. That's a big no. You don't come in here and steal my stuff. No. So now I'm just gonna outline the tombstone. Oops. Am I going? Where am I going? Let's see. See, this is what happens when you use this technique. Sometimes you get.
Amber, you want to answer that one?
I think that's really up to you, like whatever you're more comfortable with. I use both depending on the project. Yeah, if I need really fine details like what Hannah's doing now, I will use the tipless bag because I don't have tips that small. So it really depends.
And if you like washing piping tips.
It is a lot faster, I think, and easier to use the tipless bags. For me, I feel like I have more control over the icing when it has a tip. Yeah. So it really just it's up to you. You can try them both out and see which one you like better.
The tipless at first, it takes just a little getting used to because we were so like conditioned with the tips, right? Once you get used to it.
Yeah.
It's just so much less work, right?
My family doesn't really get cookies, if you can believe that. I try to give them to friends and family when I can, but usually by the time I finish a project, it's so stale that I don't want people eating it. But if I can, get it to them in time, they'll still eat them. I'm personally sick of them, so I'd rather eat a donut or a slice of cake.
I'm with you.
Okay, so now you can push that aside. And I have here one that's been kind of sitting here drying. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to just add some texture on here. And this is a pretty coarse brush that I have.
What's the color difference, Han?
Hmm?
You see there's a
Oh yeah, I see that. I have no clue.
Probably just butter bleed, right?
And maybe it's butterfly. I don't know, but this one doesn't. Yeah, that's weird. Yes, I see that. It was a bit humid here, so and I just turned on the. Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, it kind of works with that design.
It's fine. I mean, but
Yeah.
yes, I guess it is a color bleed. So now I'm just gonna add some texture. This is a popular technique. I first did it with a food wrap many years ago, almost 10 years ago. And then if you have like an excess on your brush, you can wipe it off. It just gives it a little texture on the top.
Olga, we think it's a butter bleed.
And you see, I'm not worried at all. It's okay. Because I mean, we can only worry about things we can control. This is not something I can control.
I know. It's just,
You know,
there are ways to try
give yourself
to
a headache every time you have like I mean, you can't control weather, you can't control humidity, you can't control certain things. So it's going to be fine. And nobody who is going to order cookies from you, most of the time they don't even notice.
That's true. Yeah. Me too, Byron. Now I need a donut.
I could eat a donut.
I could eat a donut. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So this is how you can add a little bit of texture on there. Okay. And I'm going to, let's move this aside, and I'm going to finish this lovely skull here. And to do that, how is the time? Okay. To do that, I'm going to use, this is Roxy & Rich Dove Gray Petal Dust. Okay, this is FDA approved, so it's perfectly fine and used on edibles. I wouldn't eat it straight from the bottle, but what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to add some on to the eyes and then color them to make it a bit spookier.
So did you bake those in the mold, or do you have to mold them and take them out?
Sorry. So to do that, I have the mold upstairs, so I can't really show you more. Do you have the mold on hand? So it's usually it's purple colored. You can get it at the dollar store at this time of the year. What I do, I spray with nonstick spray and I roll each piece of a dough into a ball and then I press it in. When you do, yes, this is what it looks like. And then I freeze it. The only thing is, like, this is a pretty rigid mold. It's not like a soft mold, so you have to kind of. What I do to get the skulls out, I bang it on a work surface, and it loosens them up from the walls, and then you can unmold them. So that's what I did, and then I froze them again because I wanted them to be firm. Because these are not. You see how shallow they are? I trimmed off maybe like a quarter inch or something, maybe more, because I didn't want them to be too bulky on my cookie. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you bake them off.
Okay.
Now, I would recommend if you're using a recipe that you really like, use a recipe without baking powder or baking soda because that will cause your cookies to spread and they will lose a lot of detail. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to here, and we are going to do some cooking. I have a prototype in front of me.
I still haven't found that cookie. Just vanished.
Yes, you can find it.
Still no. I'm sure I was going to find it.
I thought you found it.
No.
No.
It's like it went to the place your cookie cutter was at.
Mm-hmm.
I found it. Yes, I looked. I looked about. I have a lot of cookie cutters, maybe 50 boxes or something. I looked through each box about 3 times. I was so exhausted, and then next day I found it.
He's
And
not
what
in
was
the
it?
house
You know
because if
why
he
I found
was,
it? Because you said I should start. I should sort the cutters. I do have them somewhat sorted. Oh, your son.
Maybe.
He's 6 feet tall, so I don't know. Maybe he's shrinking.
he's not here, so it's not him for sure.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Oh gosh, no. What about you, Amber? Do you lose any of your stuff?
Oh, of course, yeah. I just lost something recently and I can't even remember what it was, but
Oh, you
At least
can
now
remember
you don't
what
miss
it
it.
yeah,
was?
like
Oh, okay.
it's just now it's just completely gone.
Well, I suppose if you don't know what it was, it means probably it wasn't that important, I guess.
Yeah. I guess
I mean, I don't know. Right?
I lose templates a lot. Like I'll make a project and then put it in a pile and then I need it to like, upload to the coffee shop and it's gone.
Oh,
Lost in the pile.
Yes.
so it happens to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
For a whole month, that's long.
Mm.
Finally, you find it. Usually, when you're not looking, that's when you find them.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to do little writing, rest in peace. And for that, I'm going to be using, and this is electric pink again. Let me just move this. And I have it here. Hopefully, I can get the. Oh, okay, thankfully it's not clogged. Just going to clean it up. My tip is a little dirty here. And this is PME 1.5. We have talked about this tip many times. So you see how fine this is compared to this is number 2.
Yeah, the PME 1.5 is great for writing. That's what I use.
Okay. I'm just going to quickly practice here what I want to do. Oops.
Did you make any templates for the eyes? You had done a few Halloween ones last couple of weeks ago.
Eyes?
Yeah, Kim is asking for Halloween eyes. Did you do them?
I don't have them up yet. I
Oh,
guess I do have um, some on the blog, I suppose. Okay. Now to do the rest in peace on here, I'm going to use my scribe just to give me an idea where to start. So there's some placing on there. Now keep in mind this surface is not smooth by any means. Oh no, are you kidding me?
Oh,
Yes, now, okay. Let me scrape that off.
that's the downside of using tips.
Yeah. Now the problem is this is not smooth, so it's not coming off as nicely.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make it work.
the reality of cookie
Yeah, so
decorating, though.
that's what happens. Sometimes there is an air bubble, so you can't really, Avoid all air bubbles.
Second time's the charm.
This is a good cookie. I saw that, I think it was Olga said this is a good beginner cookie. And even with the writing, because it doesn't have to be perfect on the
Absolutely.
design. So
It's not, yeah, exactly.
Well, you get to try a whole bunch of techniques, right? You get to try. Another thing you could throw on there, Han, is the cookie moss, even.
Oh yes, that's true. Now I completely forgot. I'm going to add. Wait, this is still wet. Just gonna add some bling. I know I'm going with unusual colors on here, but I wanted to do something different. Everybody, you know, not everything has to be super dark.
Yeah, I think it is. It's the electric
I mean,
pink.
it's pretty dark. I suppose it's pretty dark, but. And I'm just going to, the black is not ready, but the gray is ready. You can use, this is edible decorative paint. It's silver metallic paint that you can use.
Hey, Han, is electric pink your pink?
Yes, it's my pink. It's my pink. If I could find a brush now, okay. I'm gonna use this one. What you do, I'm just gonna go very lightly over the gray. Doesn't have to have full coverage. Just a little shine. And you also want to do that over the black swirls. Okay. So I don't know if these are completely dry. I mean, am I gonna risk it? Let's see. I mean, these are definitely not dry, but they're crusted. So you get the idea. See, I squished it. It's not dry. I'm not gonna mess with it. Also, what I did, I added the scalp, but before I do that, I'm going to kind of splatter some of this paint on it. And so I have my brush loaded with the paint, and I'm just gonna use the stripe. You can use your finger, but this is less messier, I find. Okay. And to attach it on, I'm going to just use a little bit of icing on the back.
Oh, yeah, it does. It's true. Monster High.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that could be. See, so this one is completely painted. You could also use a little, if you have a pumpkin mold, that would also work well here.
Bye, Cynthia.
So that's me. Okay, I'm good. 105. Excellent.
This is a good design for tweens, you know? Like they're still kids. They like their treats, but they want to be grown up, you know?
Yeah.
I also wanted to tell you guys that I do have a beginner class coming up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Beginner class coming up. It's a beginner class using all pumpkin shape and doing 4 different characters. We'll cover topics like different consistencies, how to color different colors. I'm going to demonstrate how I color my blackberry icing with cocoa powder. And we'll decorate all of these cookies, and we'll have lots of fun. And you can
Just
sign
in
up
time for Halloween.
It's on October 23rd, so hurry up and sign up over at Global Belly. And I also wanted to tell you, I just released a new tutorial. Some of you probably seen this doing the live, but this is now live on my YouTube channel and also on the blog with all the details and tips and tricks on how to create coffee bubbles and how to make fun coffee cup cookies for your coffee loving friends. So that's all from me for today.
You could do me on. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I might actually take you up on that. I'll just have to color some neon green or yellow. I think yellow. I'm gonna do. If I do it, I'll do yellow because it has a black background, kind of dark grayish.
So thanks for joining us, everyone. A reminder, we have our decorating kits on Global Belly and also the subscription baking kits that come every month. The holidays are coming, so there's going to be lots of fun projects. You guys want to, have a little decorating day. Maybe you don't have all the gear. Everything comes to do the projects. Everything you need, like in the box. So you don't have everything, then you don't have to worry about it. Everything's going to be there for you to be able to work. So thanks for joining us.
And then on Tuesday we'll be back. Don't forget to join us on Tuesday.
Yeah. Do you know what you're doing?
1 p.m. Eastern time, our usual time.
Hey, do you know what you're doing?
I think it's time to officially move to Christmas. I think. I don't know yet. Well, or Thanksgiving. I don't know yet. I don't know yet because I haven't done a lot of Thanksgiving and I had some great plans.
Thanksgiving for me in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
So.
But
I'm ready for Christmas.
Yes.
You're ready for Christmas? Can anybody guess what Amber's pattern on her cookies is going to be? Can anybody guess?
Yeah, so Christmas, I think.
Well, I don't know. I think
not yet. Now, for us, we have to start early because you guys want to create things. So if you want to shop for all the things that we use, you have to start early.
That's very true.
Yeah, we just want to have it ready for you guys so you guys can have time to make it and get all your supplies. So you don't have to start yet, but we do.
Yeah, exactly. Or else, what's the point? Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you
next week. Or yes, next week. Bye.
Bye.